I have known Chin Hin since 1952 when I went into the University of Hong Kong staying at the Morrison Hall. He was my senior, and we have been friends since. We are very happy to have Chin Hin visiting Hong Kong every year in our Hong Kong College of Physicians annual general meeting, and we have conferred on him our honorary fellowship. He has indeed a very, very great man and doctor in not only Malaysia and he was in Singapore, but he was extremely well respected in Hong Kong and in the College of Physicians.
Dr. Chiu Chin Hin has been my senior at the Faculty of Medicine, University of Hong Kong. He has been a role model in medical education, specialist training, and also a role model and teacher in medical ethics. I have been tremendously influenced by his professionalism and his faith in God. When I first come to Singapore about 4 years ago, I remember Dr. Chiu at his age of almost 90 volunteered to come pick me up at the Lee Kwang Chen School of Medicine to go to lunch at the Tanglin Club. And I was deeply touched by my senior who has been looking after me so well as a newcomer in Singapore. Recently, both Dr. Chiu and his wife, Anna, become very sick. And today they have both left us. Although I'm very sad to see them leaving, but when I look at this very loving couple and who are facing the final stage of their lives together, full of faith and peace in God, I feel that they are very blessed. Dr. Chiu, Anna, we miss you.
It's been a great honor and privilege for me to have known Professor Chiu Chin Hin since I joined the College of Physicians around the time of 2010. He has been most generous with his time as well as advice about the professionalism and history of medicine. I learned a lot from him about the history of medicine in Singapore, about the Academy of Medicine, as well as the College of Physicians. He has also told me and shared with me a lot about how the MRCP business exams come about in Singapore, and I've also enjoyed his company as we met at official functions as well as at social functions after medicine. His love for Anna is extremely touching, and he has shared with me his illness and his courage in facing these last few months. And I hope Elaine, Irene, and the rest of you can be comforted in knowing that he has left a large mark on medicine, on his colleagues, on his juniors, and on many of his friends in Singapore.
With the transformation of Tan Tock Seng Hospital from a chest hospital to general hospital, the late 60s and early 70s were tremendous years for the rapid development where new specialties were added to general disciplines. But of significance was the development of rehabilitation medicine we had to establish because this discipline will tremendously support the patients of neurology, neurosurgery, orthopedic surgery, and also general medicine, which had already been established earlier in the mid-60s.
Dear Prof, on behalf of the aviation medicine community, I want to thank you for your pioneering spirit, your amazing contributions, and just simply your relentless commitment to advance the interests of aviation medicine in Singapore. For everything you have done, we are forever grateful. At the age of 93, you continued to do civil medical boards. And even though driving to Changi Airport was no longer easy for you, you made that commitment and effort to be with us, to see us, and to teach us. For many of us, you are a mentor, a teacher, and above all, a wonderful human being and friend to all of us. Beyond the boards, many of us truly enjoy listening to your stories of yesteryears. Stories of your first flight out of Singapore, stories of experience on the SIA Concorde, stories of your adventures and flying experiences. You're blessed with an amazingly sharp mind, and your ability to remember the finest details or most unexpected or remote connections continue to amaze us. You are truly one of the most amazing people we know. I know how much it must have saddened you to experience the separation of your wife, Dr. Anna, recently. Your love for her was one of the purest and most beautiful love we have ever seen. You were both inseparable on earth, and I know you both will be inseparable once again in heaven in time to come. It saddens us to see your health deteriorate, but I know you are at peace, and we know you wish to be with Anna again. From the bottom of our hearts, I want to thank you for all you've done for us. As the next generation of aviation medicine professionals, we will continue to pave the way ahead, share your stories with the young and future leaders, and pay it forward like you've always done throughout your career and life. Your life work will continue in the work that we do. Thank you so much for everything, Prof. You will always be in our hearts.
Professionally, Prof. Chew has been a strong proponent of aviation medicine in Singapore. When I first joined the Air Force in 2006, aviation medicine was still not recognized as a specialty. With Prof. Chew's guidance and advice, we successfully got aviation medicine accredited as a specialty in Singapore and developed a robust training program. So on behalf of all aviation medical officers in the Air Force, both past and present, I want to thank Prof. Chew for all that you have done in supporting our fledgling medical specialty. At the personal level, Prof. Chew has always been very personable, very thoughtful, very approachable, and very generous with his time and advice. My mother trained under him in her earlier days of her career, and every time we meet, Prof. Chew will always ask on her how she's doing and how my father was. I am very grateful to God for giving me the opportunity to have gotten to know Prof. Chew personally and to be able to observe and learn from his humility and sense of duty and service.
A tribute to Professor Chew Chin Hin. The contributions of Professor Chew Chin Hin in the field of aviation medicine and medical certification of pilots in civil aviation has been nothing short of outstanding. Professor Chew's first encounter with aviation medicine was in 1970, following the withdrawal of the British military, including the Royal Air Force. Medical certification of pilots was to be handed over from the RAF doctors and staff to Singapore, and Professor Chew was one of the first sent by MOH to observe what the team at RAF Changi was doing and to set it up in quick time to take over the role. For the next 2 decades, the role of pilot medical certification was under the responsibility of Tan Tock Seng Hospital, with its chairman medical board concurrently appointed as the chairman of the Civil Aviation Medical Board. Professor Chew was the second chairman of Singapore Civil Aviation Medical Board. He had also set up the Aviation Medical Board for the SAF. During his time, he advanced the discipline of aviation medicine tremendously and worked with many specialists in various fields to ensure evidence-based decisions were made in the medical certification of pilots. Beyond his tenure as the chairman of the board, Professor Chew continued to serve as a board member of Civil Aviation Medical Board. Amazingly, he continued to do pilot medical certifications up to the age of 93. Such is Professor Chew's dedication and commitment to aviation medicine in Singapore. In addition to the work in civil aviation, Professor Chew was also instrumental in having aviation medicine recognized as a subspecialty in Singapore. He continued to serve as site assessor in the accreditation of training sites of aviation medicine, and he often remarked with joy the growth and development of aviation medicine in Singapore. For all his contributions to aviation medicine in Singapore, he was conferred the Ordinary Life Membership of the Society of Aviation Medicine and Psychology Singapore. Beyond the contributions toward aviation medicine, Professor Chew was a hugely inspirational teacher and a great historian. He often spent time during his boards to share his experience or stories of important milestones in Singapore's history. His mind was always sharp, and he remembered many things, down to very small details. He not only remembers how and why things have evolved into the way they are today, he also remembers all the names of people involved at various decision points. Many of us look forward to doing medical boards with Professor Chew each month. Even though Prof. Chew always thanks us for helping him with the electronic medical record system during the board, we feel blessed in his presence as we gain so much more than we give. But beyond the sharp mind and storytelling, we will remember Prof. Chew as a dear friend, mentor, and role model to all of us. Today, Professor Chew remembers all of us by name. He knows the important milestones in our lives, and he continues to stay up to date via social media. He had the ability to connect with all of us, and we are touched by small acts of love. Through his acts of love, we see such a selfless human being. We are truly blessed to have Prof. Chew in our lives, and thank you, Dr. Anna, for sharing him with us. On behalf of the aviation medicine community, I want to thank you for your immense contributions to aviation medicine and for being such a wonderful teacher and mentor to all of us. We are forever indebted to you. May you be blessed with love, happiness, and peace for an eternity.
My name is Andrew Elder, and I am the President of the Royal College of Physicians of Edinburgh. And may I simply start by thanking the Chew family for giving me this opportunity to pay tribute to the late Professor Chew Chin Hin on behalf of the Royal College of Physicians of Edinburgh. First, I send our deepest condolences to Professor Chew's family, to his wider circle of friends, and indeed to the broader medical community of Singapore. Professor Chew became a fellow of our college over 50 years ago in 1971 and contributed greatly to our work over many years. Fellowship, for me, is about the connections we form in our professional travels, in our meetings. I first met Professor Chew when I visited Singapore as a PACES examiner many years ago. On that occasion, and in every subsequent meeting I had with him, right up until I dined with him in a Singapore restaurant just 2 years ago, he was a gracious and generous host, a humble, friendly and warm man, ever interested in the lives and works of others. And just as the medical communities of Edinburgh and Singapore have developed a great friendship over the years and have formed respect for the others' endeavours, I developed a friendship with Professor Chew and held him in deep respect. Doctors are first and foremost healers who put the care of their patients first. Professor Chew was an outstanding clinician, an outstanding doctor. But what comes second, and it is a very close second in my mind, is that doctors are teachers. And Professor Chew was an outstanding teacher too, not just of medicine, but a teacher of life. And when a teacher dies, their teachings do not. Their pupils, students, and peers carry those teachings forward and pass them on to the generation that follows. Professor Chew, we thank you for your service, for your friendship, and for what you taught us. We will always remember you. Thank you.